Every single year, there seems to be a Best Picture nomination for a World War II movie. In 2016, Hacksaw Ridge came out, which was about the incredible true events of Desmond Doss. In 2017, we had both Dunkirk and The Darkest Hour, which are both about the events surrounding Dunkirk, which were both nominated for Best Picture. And now, in 2019, we have Jojo Rabbit, which is a comedy satire about a young boy living in Nazi Germany who loves Hitler and has his imaginary friend of Hitler. Yeah, different times. Jojo Rabbit is directed by Taika Waititi, and it's starring a bunch of awesome people. The entire cast in this movie is incredible. And like I said, it is about a 10-year-old boy who's growing up in Germany during World War II, so he is a Nazi. He wants to be a Nazi. His imaginary friend is Hitler. He praises him, and it's a comedy satire about this kid growing up in a world of hate and about him learning to love. And this is a movie that I was so excited for, mainly because Taika Waititi is one of my favorite directors working today. Hunt for the Wilderpeople was a film that when I saw the first time, I didn't really love it, and to be completely honest, I don't think I really understood the humor he was going for, and it's a film that I've been wanting to watch again ever since I saw it, and I feel like I would completely turn on it, because that's exactly what I had with What We Do in the Shadows, which is Taika's weird vampire comedy that is just incredible. I love the TV show as well. It's one of my favorites. And like I said, that one also I did not like the first time I saw it, but now I absolutely love it. And of course, he directed Thor Ragnarok and starred as Korg, the rock monster that is everybody's favorite character. Everybody likes Korg and Meek. And so now Taika Waititi is off doing a brand new original, or not original film, it's actually based on a book that he is adapting here called Jojo Rabbit. And he himself plays Hitler in this comedy satire, and it's definitely a comedy satire, which I need to get off right off the bat. If you guys are somewhat interested in this movie, just know going in that it's definitely a satire, a satirical look at World War II about this kid growing up in this terrible place, and it's very unique and different. It's why I absolutely loved it. Taika Waititi's humor is definitely not for everyone, but if you did see Thor Ragnarok, which definitely had a lot of his personality in that film, and you watch his other movies, especially like What We Do in the Shadows, you will probably love this movie and completely get it and like click into that type of humor that he's going for, because this movie is very, very funny. And it's not one of those comedies that's like every second there's a joke, like a movie like Good Boys. Not one every second they threw in a joke somewhere throughout the movie. This movie is definitely more subtle than that, because it is a drama. It takes place during World War II, and there are some definite like dramatic moments in this movie that really hits you, and some really, really great performances in this movie. Not just by Taika Waititi, who is super over the top and ridiculous in this movie, which definitely works, but Scarlett Johansson and her character and the things that she does is very funny. She's a very lively and joyous character. She's very colorful in terms of her personality, and she is excellent in the movie, in both the dramatic scenes and the comedy scenes. And let's not mistake the two stars of this movie, who are definitely Roman Griffin Davis, who plays the title character Jojo, and Thomasin McKenzie, who plays Elsa. And these two are just incredible for child actors, and the performance that Taika Waititi was able to get out of these characters were just awesome. I loved these two in this movie, especially their both unique relationships with Scarlett Johansson's character is just awesome. There's an awesome mother and son relationship throughout this movie that is just, it's definitely the heart of the movie, and definitely the relationship between Elsa and Scarlett Johansson's character is perfect. I love, there's one scene in particular where they're sitting in this small room and they're just having a conversation, and it's like, oh my gosh, the banter between the two, and then the dire conversation that they're having, and the real dramatic moments. Like, this is one of the more dramatic moments in this movie, and it works so well. And especially the two of them working off of each other, both Griffin and McKenzie, they are great. They make this movie what it is. They have the comedy, they have the dramatic aspects of it, and they just, the relationship and the growth that both of them go through in this movie is just perfect. I love everything about the characters in this movie. All of the cast, even the side characters. Stephen Merchant is in this movie, who's in it for only a short scene or two, and he is hilarious. If you've seen some of the behind the scenes stuff, the interviews with Taika and Stephen Merchant, they're great. They did one of those, talk about the scene type thing where they draw on one of the scenes. And that is my favorite scene in this entire movie. You see the beginning of it in that interview, but the scene goes on for a lot longer, and it's really funny when it starts, but then it takes a turn, which is very tense and dramatic, and just, oh my gosh, I was stressed out. I was holding my breath. It is a stressful scene, and that's when Taika really delves into the comedy drama aspect of this movie, because like I said, it's not one or the other. It's really both, and this scene is just perfect from beginning to end. It is awesome. It's my favorite scene in the movie. And in terms of the story, this is very unique and very different compared to other World War II movies that have come out in the past. Clearly, if you have a kid whose imaginary friend is Hitler, it's a very different story. But you really get to see this world and this situation through the eyes of an innocent 10-year-old boy who just, he grew up, like, everybody loves Hitler. Everybody's, like, praising him. Obviously, the world that he's growing up in is very different than what he's born into this situation. It's basically about him learning to not hate and learning to love, especially through the Thomasin McKenzie character. Then their relationship, you definitely get to see his growth, and it's just, you see the world through his eyes. Everything in this movie is through this kid's eyes. Even when things get more serious, more dramatic, when he really sees what the war truly is, even the color palette of this movie starts to get more dark and more like not as colorful and as joyous as the beginning of this movie, because the opening scene is very, very much an indication of what this movie is going to be like. If you saw the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's very unique, and the entire style of this movie, the growth that this kid goes through, is definitely what makes this movie 100% worth watching. I definitely recommend you guys to check out this movie. In terms of negatives, I can't think of any. And I don't think I'd give this movie like a perfect 10 out of 10. I don't rate movies on this movie with numbers. I don't do that. I just, say my review, say what I liked, what I didn't like, but I can't really say anything I didn't like about this movie. It's not a perfect movie by any means, but it's so entertaining, and it's so dramatic. Like, when it hits you, some things that happen towards the end of the movie really hits you, and it's emotional, and it's heartbreaking, and it's an emotional gut punch, but while also being extremely funny, while also just being a very entertaining and informative movie that could be great for kids to watch. It is PG-13, so if you have kids around the age of 13 or in middle school or in high school, this is a great movie to show them, to kind of show the world how cruel World War II really was, and how war is never a good thing. It's bad in general. Like, it's a terrible thing, especially World War II, and the terrible things that happen in this, and it's such a good movie to introduce, young children to see, okay, the hatred in this world is wrong, and people are normal. Like, the entire scene when you first introduce Thomasin McKenzie's character is treated like a horror scene, but it's just a girl hiding in a wall, and she's Jewish, and there's nothing different about her. She's just another human. She's just another person, and it's such a beautiful message, and that's what I loved about this movie. It's definitely a heartwarming movie while also being very heartbreaking at the same time. I don't know. I love this movie. It's something that is very special. If it is in a theater near you guys, I know it's in limited release right now, go check out Jojo Rabbit. Taika Waititi can do no wrong in my eyes. I cannot wait for anything that he does. Anything he does, I'm 100% signed up for. So that is my review for Jojo Rabbit. If you like this review and you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. Comment below what you thought of Jojo Rabbit. Leave a like. Do all the things. And I hope to see you all in my next one.